Hello everybody and welcome to my F1 2021 My Team Career Mode Season 4 Round 10. We are now at Austria. If you haven't seen the last one from France, I urge you to go back and check that one out before coming back to watch this one. This is your last chance to do so before spoilers. After grabbing a win in France, it is now time to get our heads down once again in the Styrian Mountains. And I do apologise for the long gap between episodes. Obviously this is where I had COVID and my voice still isn't 100%, but I am bringing you this career mode episode today. First off is qualifying, and I do not thank Mick Schumacher there for getting in my way and making things just that little bit harder than they need to be. But we're trying to get through, and the pace is just ridiculously fast in this qualifying session. And I'm struggling a little bit just to find where it is. And even when I'm finding that pace, it's not by much. It's by like 2/10 that I'm gaining on myself. So I'm really not sure where I was going wrong. But I've just gained half a second there. So I think I must have gone a little bit wide on one of the laps. That's definitely a little bit wide, but we'll get away with it. Gaining 6/10. Where does that put me? 11th. That really doesn't do much for me. And in fact, you can see that in qualifying 1, we just about made it through. So that doesn't really give me much faith for qualifying 2, as you can see here. And this time I'm gaining on the time I set. But again, it's only by a 1/10.5, and I'm in 11th. So I don't know if that's going to be enough to squeeze through. And look at that, using all the road and more. And it's put me in P5, but by the end of qualifying, it simply wasn't enough, and it's down to P14 for the start of the Austrian Grand Prix.
Good afternoon and welcome to Spielberg, and to a circuit that in one form or another has held every Austrian Grand Prix in the championship, except the very first back in 1964. It was at this race that John Watson lost a bet and his beard when he took Team Penske's only F1 victory in 1976. If anything, the stakes are even higher today, with 25 points available for victory and a crucial advantage in the championship fight. The Spielberg circuit then is situated 700 metres above sea level, with just 10 corners making up one of the shortest laps of the season. One time around here is a distance of 2.6 miles, with the best overtaking chances into turn 1 or the tight uphill turn 3. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Bottas, Lando Norris, and Tsunoda, Sainz, Ricciardo, Giovinazzi, and Christian Lundgaard, Stroll, Schwartzman, Joker, and Vettel. Gasly, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Ocon, and Guan Yu Zhou, and Callum Ilott, Mick Schumacher, Markelov, Latifi, and Nikita Mazepin. And now it's time to head
On the grid then, with 36 laps in front of us, what can we do in this race? P13 is where we start. I'm hoping we can get a decent finish. I'm sure Schwartzman jumped the start there. But it's lights out and away we go. We're getting swamped. Sebastian Vettel's going full send into turn 1. I can't see that ending well. It hasn't ended well. The two Aston Martins have come together and they have created a bit of a roadblock, which I was able to navigate my way ahead of. So I've gained 2 places because of that. And you just see there Sebastian Vettel going full send, tapping his Aston Martin teammate. And you see me nipping through there, and that's an Alfa Romeo removing himself immediately from the race. I believe that's Nicholas Latifi immediately out. You're watching from Gasly's view here as the two Aston Martins come together and he gets stuck behind them. But while they're all doing that, I was able to just nip through and create a gap. But the safety car predictably came out because of that and eradicated my gap to Schwartzman behind me. So, P11, lap 4, we've gained 2 places. Let's continue gaining. Gonna have a look up the inside of Christian Lundgaard. This should be easy. He comes across a little bit to defend, but I've got the inside line and I'm able to just muscle past him, and we are now up into P10. Next up then is Italian Jesus, Antonio Giovinazzi, and we are going to be doing the same move in P3, or at least attempting to, getting right in his slipstream. This should be a straightforward dive up the inside for us. Again, Giovinazzi comes across to defend, but we've got the inside, and again, that is another place at turn 3, and you can see there, that was a pretty straightforward overtake. Again, Giovinazzi did try to defend it, but we had the line, and with that, we are now up into P9. Ooh, poetry, that rhymes. Anyway, next up is Daniel Ricciardo. He is my next victim at turn 3 again. Once again, just diving straight up the inside. I don't even think Ricciardo tried to defend that one. So we are now up into P8. Next up is Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari. Once again, up the inside. Also, Norris and Tsunoda are battling here. So I've got to be careful not to clatter into them when I'm overtaking the Ferrari. But I've got past them both. I've got past the Ferrari, sorry. Now we're going to have a look up the inside of Lando Norris here. That is a very brave place to go for the move. But we have somehow managed to make that move stick up into P6. And next up is Yuki Tsunoda. Although Norris might be trying to come back at me here. He is trying to come back at me. We're going to have to cover that one. Is Norris going to back out? Yes, he does. And now we can set after Yuki Tsunoda. Going at the same place we've done most of our overtakes here. DRS, overtake, all activated down the inside. Tsunoda giving us room. Oh, I've hit the curb too hard. And I nearly went round. Tsunoda still alongside me. Not willing to give this up, but I've got the inside line, I've got the momentum, and that is P5. So
MFD for a new strategy.
We have made some pretty impressive gains so far, as Max Verstappen makes the first of what I presume would be 2 stops behind me. So he is in P5, and I'm up to P3, chasing down George Russell and Valtteri Bottas, the 2 race leaders. I'm surprised Bottas hasn't had a go at Russell yet, given how close behind he is. I just wonder if they're saving it, and that looks like a car slowing down by turn 1. I can't see who it is at the moment. I believe that is Max Verstappen. That is Max Verstappen out of the race.
Now, let's get some heat into those
right,
tires.
Back with our race. We're having to stop now for our 1 pit stop onto the medium tyres, and Charles Leclerc has got ahead of me. That is the last thing I needed, for my teammate to be there. I can't just order him out the way because he'll want to be in the fight as well. So Leclerc P3, me P4, but I think my tyres are slightly newer than my teammate dead ahead, so we're going to try and get past him as quick as we can. And for sure, he's going to try covering the inside a little bit, but I've used the left side of the circuit, and with the momentum I had from the new tyres, I was able just to blast past him. That is P3. We are now heading towards the 2 leaders of this race, which are Russell and Bottas getting very close, but not close enough. And I wonder, is Bottas going to be our next victim here? As I have a look up the inside, no, Bottas covering that one, making sure there's no room for me to get past. I've got very squirrely on the exit, but however, next time round we have got a bit more of a run on Bottas. He's gone to cover, but I'm forcing my line down the inside, and I've given him a bit of a squeeze. But that is now P2. Now pressuring the race leader, George Russell. in the Red Bull. It's one of the driver transfers of this game that has slightly surprised me, given George has such strong Mercedes ties, but alas, he has given all that up to join Red Bull. Right, we are now going for the lead on lap 22. Russell putting his car in all the right places. We've got to make a dive. We've got to make this work, and I think this is going to be the dive down the inside there, and we have taken the lead from the Red Bull. George Russell now down to P2, but he's now putting a lot of pressure on us, and I've got the first corner quite wrong there. That's going to give George Russell a bit of a tow. He's alongside me, he's got past, but he's coming back across on me, and we've tagged him, and that is front wing damage. And we've now, well, I've got Squirrely on the curb and tagged him again, but what happened there was George went past me around the outside of the left-hander, and then just as we got to the braking spot for this corner here, George came back across, and I wasn't expecting him to, and as a result I went into him. I feel like IRL that would have been a penalty for George there. We're now up to Robert Schwartzman, who's running very nicely in P5 there. I wonder, has he got another stop to make, because if he doesn't, he is looking for some great points. But I am going to deprive him of 2 of those, because we're going to go up the inside. He put a good fight up there, but again, brand new soft tyres versus medium tyres that have been on I don't know how long, and that enabled me to get through. Right, next up is Charles Leclerc in P4, so after that front wing change, not a great day for the two Joe H2O cars, because we are in 4th and 5th. So I'm hoping Leclerc doesn't make this one too difficult for me, because I need to try and at least get back up to P3. Gasly is in that P3 and he's 2 seconds up the road, so I do feel like we could catch him by the end of this race. Right, first up though, we have to get past our teammate. Are we close enough for DRS? Not quite, but we're going to wait until the next sequence of corners. Here we are, look, we're now pretty tucked up behind him. Look at the momentum we have. Leclerc covering, but we're going to go to the left hand side of the circuit, and that is the move done round the outside. Leclerc doing what he could to cover, but at the end we had the momentum. Right, next up is Gasly, but we have a back marker between us of Mick Schumacher, but he gets out of the way, and a lap or so later we're now right behind Gasly, and just look at the momentum we're able to take out of the corners owing to having the fresher soft tyres, and we are now up into that P3, back up into P3 should I say, and on the podium once again. Bottas and Russell are a little bit too far for us to catch, and we've got a spinner there. That's a lapped car of Markelov, and is that Charles Leclerc going into him? I think Charles Leclerc has just gone into him. We're going to watch here. Yes, Leclerc just goes straight into him. Mick Schumacher backs off, and we've also got a Williams stopping. I'm not sure which one that is, but that is going to be a safety car for sure, and that backs the pack up once again. I'm not sure what happened to Schwartzman and all of that. I think he might have tagged someone, lightly tagged someone for all that, and had to pit for a front wing. That's rotten luck. But meanwhile, back with our leaders, the safety car has come in. What can I do on soft tyres versus these guys on mediums? I'm getting closer down the straight, but the problem is without DRS, we just don't quite have the momentum to get there. We've got plenty of pace, but we just don't have the momentum. Plus these soft tyres are starting to feel slightly past their best, and we just don't have the traction. This is going to be our best chance now though. Are we going to be able to have a look up the inside of Valtteri Bottas? I had a bit of a look, but Bottas had that covered. We're going to get one more chance here, but look at that, Bottas has just gone ahead. I really feel like I should have used that momentum and tried to carry it into here, rather than having a faux look into turn 1. As you can see, he's got better traction out of the corner, and I think we are just going to have to settle for P3, which, given we started P13, I don't think is too bad.
There's 3 laps of fuel remaining.
We were fighting for the lead until George Russell put pay to that. But what can you do? It's still P3. Despite losing a front wing and starting 13th, it's still a very decent result. I tell you what, Bottas still not particularly quick here. I just wonder, is there a chance to nip him in the last corner? Nope. It's going to be P3. I will take that. I'll accept that. Given how the weekend started, it's not too bad a finish.
Good finish. You stepped up and achieved what we asked. Good job.
Smiling faces on the pit wall after a superb win here in Spielberg, and rightly so, a brilliant effort from the whole team. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Well, you know what they say, to finish first you have to finish. And that fact was clear today, with lots of retirements having a big effect on the outcome of the race. As a driver, you tend to keep reliability concerns to the back of your mind and just focus on what's in front of you. But for the teams, races like this can be very stressful.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
So George Russell then taking the win. I still feel like he should have had a penalty, but it is what it is. Good job by him then. Valtteri Bottas taking second. We've got third in the fastest laps. That's not too bad at all, given we started 13th. Then we got Gasly in 4th, who came from 15th. So 2 drivers in the top 4 coming from outside the top 10. And Tsunoda rounds out the top 5, and Schwartzman just dropped places for all that. So he was running quite high up, so it's quite bad for him that he's down in P11. And I feel bad for Carlos because he is really carrying that Ferrari team at the moment. The gap then in the championship to me and Charles Leclerc, because of his crash, now going up to 73 points. And George Russell, well, he's down, but I wouldn't say he's entirely out yet, given the speed of that Red Bull. The Red Bull is very, very quick. And Pierre Gasly then splitting the Red Bulls in the championship. Well, thank you for watching this race. Don't forget to leave a like and hit the subscribe button if you are new here and you want to see more from me. Until the next video, I have been Joe. Take care, look after yourselves. TTFN guys, ta-ta for now.